Welcome to Dr. Jester Talks. I'm gonna use one article here to segue into what I want to talk about in relations to comics. Especially after doing a video in regards to... Captain America? Which was Captain Heroic Genitals. It's funny, but still. Screen Rants. Stan Lee admitted Marvel trolled DC in most hilarious way. I'm gonna use the article to segue into what I want to talk about, so here is the important bit. Marvel and DC Comics were considered the big two of the comic book world. Not anymore, really. Marvel still controls the largest percentage of comics sold. Not anymore, comics shown during the first quarter. Anyway, here it is. In an interview in the late 70s, the former Marvel editor-in-chief was asked about his competition at DC Comics. Without hesitation, Lee said, "Bless their little innocent hearts," before admitting that they had fun with them. After they started selling more comics, according to Lee, DC studied Marvel's covers in an effort to try and emulate their success. Lee said, DC noticed the use of red on their comics and started doing their own red covers. He added DC did the same thing with dialogue on the covers. In response, Marvel took all the red and dialogue off their covers, while Lee revealed still led to their books too, selling better. Lee said it drove DC crazy. Lee's answer begins around there. Okay, this is the interview, but I'm not gonna play because I'm not so sure if it's copyrighted or not. Anyway, Lee wasn't done roasting DC, as he said Marvel worked a little more seriously, and maybe we have a little bit more of a sense of humor. He called DC Comics' approach stuffy, and told the interviewer readers like things that are whimsical and humorous. He joked not to tell DC Comics what I did. It's unclear how many covers Marvel changed in response to DC Comics emulating them. As Lee put it, still, the fact that Lee trolled DC by removing both color red and dialogue from the covers show how much the rivalry, Jesus Christ, between the two publishers meant to him. Funny enough, Lee would write for DC Comics more than 2 decades after making the comics. So while the comments and trolling were real, Stan Lee surely respected DC Comics at least enough to have some fun with them. I agree. It shows they had a mutual respect and they were a competition, one trying to outdo the other in trying to create better products for the consumers. Today that's quite not the case. We can see that they are not quite interested in creating a better product for the customer, because the customer is definitely now a second. Somebody is mowing the lawn. Anyway, the customer now is just a second thought or something that. If the customer likes it, okay, that's great. But now we're gonna make comic books for ourselves, and we saw that this is not leading to good sales. Their sales are abysmal, the all-time low in comparison to years and years ago. People are not buying comic books anymore. For instance, I am not buying comic books anymore. I used to, so much so that the last comic book, it was a Marvel comic book that I bought, was from 2017. I'm going to make an issue or something like that on almost every single video where I talk about this, because it's a point that I want to drive across. That Marvel is not doing comics for people like us anymore. They are not making comic books for people who actually bought them. Anyway, the last comic was a Deadpool from 2017, of May 2017. I bought it. It was an overpriced garbage. It barely had any pages. The story was crap. The drawings were crap. And I felt stiff. I felt like I was robbed. And this is why I'm pointing out this. Jesus Christ, dude, enough already. And then that's why I'm making a point and making it why I'm using the article of Stan Lee doing this. Because back then, they were making comic books for the readers, for the customers. They were making comic books, better comic books, one after the other to try and outdo it. But unfortunately, that's not quite the case anymore. Like I said, here it is. This is for April. Adult graphic novels, and you can see the top 20 most sold graphic novels. Manga. Not even a single Marvel, or not even a single DC Comics, not even Image, not even Dark Horse, nor any other publisher out there. Not even a single one of those. You can see why. The comic books industry today have gone so fucking woke, that so goddamn garbage that nobody is buying that crap anymore. And now they're choosing what was a niche market, which was manga. I remember when I used to live in the UK, the manga market that existed, it was there, but it was just a tiny little shelf in comparison to multiple shelves of DC, Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, and things like that. They were there. And now, look at this. Look at this. It inverted because manga is still selling for the customer. Meanwhile, Marvel, DC Comics are not. And we can see the sales, we can see the content, and they don't care about us anymore. I miss those days. I still have comic books. Yeah, the old comic books from back in those days. And the stories were great. The drawings, you could see the technological achievements back in the days. The coloring was definitely not even on par to what we have today, but even then, those drawings and coloring can manage to still beat the crap out of many of the craps we have today, especially the last Deadpool comic book I bought from Marvel. Though the comics from the mid-90s, early 90s, the drawings and the coloring in there still managed to beat the crap out of it. That's how good they were. It's sad to see a hobby that you used to love, and why we didn't gatekeep these people out of our hobbies. This was one of our mistakes. We should have gatekept them out of our hobbies. Unfortunately, we didn't, and now we are paying for it. We are paying in crappy content, and now we may be looking to, who knows, hopefully Marvel and DC Comics going under, because the companies who owns them, at least DC Comics in this case, wants to sell the crap out of it, because it's not giving them money. They are losing money because, well, they decided to go woke. It's the biggest example of why we need to gatekeep. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to discuss about this, so thank you for watching. Stay right here on youtube.com/Dr. Jester for normal Karen stuff, but if you want spicy content, head to BitChute.com/Dr. Jester or Minds.com/Dr. Jester, where I'm not censored. Free speech, I miss those days. Anyway, by the way, they also have a very exclusive thumbnail, something different. Yes, something that it differentiates from the rest. Hey, production values going up. And remember, stay away from Captain Heroic genitals. That was hilarious. Still, check out the early video if you're interested to see how far Marvel has gone down. Anyway, thank you for fucking watching. See you in my next fucking video. Have a good fucking night. Why did I use fucking so much in the last bit? I do not know. It's like I just discovered the word. Anyway, have a good fucking night.